Welcome to Or Something Like That,
the podcast where you can talk shit with your besties.
We're your hosts, Sam
and Hollis. Be sure to follow us on social and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode.
And if you love us, give us that 5-star review.
One, two, three, four.
Hello.
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
After a little break.
I know. We did have a little break because we had our rewind episode last week. And yeah, we've just been kind of busy.
Yeah. I've had some big life stuff going on.
Yeah.
Had some big surgeries in my family. So it took some time to help them out. But everything's going great. And yeah, the medical system, although be it super fucked up, is kind of miraculous in some ways.
I know. When you really see something from a firsthand experience of how incredible some of these things that they can do is, and just how much we have advanced. Yeah.
I know.
It's one of those double-edged sword things where it's like, yeah, the healthcare is so messed up, but at the same time, there are times where you're just very grateful for what can be accomplished.
Yeah, and having access.
Yes.
You know, being fortunate enough to have access to healthcare. And
yes, we're speaking from very privileged positions.
It is, and I've been very lucky in that I haven't had to spend any time in a hospital. My family hasn't. We're fortunate to be pretty healthy.
Yeah.
And man, spending time in a hospital really puts things into perspective. Just like how much we take our health for granted.
Yeah.
And, seeing other people that are like clearly struggling and have been for a long time with their health and just being like, God, you forget how much harder life would be if you were struggling with your health on a regular basis.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just like, I know I've always been kind of a downer on being grateful on this podcast, but it really reminded me.
I just really don't have anything to be grateful for. Okay. I have nothing.
Being grateful
I refuse to be grateful.
Overrated. No, but it did. It really, I was like, man, I have so much to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And I am. And I've been practicing gratitude like crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling pretty grateful. So, I'm just thankful that everything went well and the fam is
everyone's on the mend and doing well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So,
praise be.
Praise be to whoever's up there running the show. Hopefully somebody is.
Hopefully. I mean, it's questionable right now, but
we're feeling pretty empty up there. But
things are horrible. You're like, lives are horrible.
Somebody
like 2 episodes ago. You were like, can you just make our people on the shows fall in love? Lives are horrible. Oh, man.
But yeah, not much going on other than that. Just kind of working, hanging out, getting back to life, enjoying the summer.
Yeah, it has been a good summer so far. We had a little vacation, a little family vacay, and we went to St. Joseph, Michigan, which is right on Lake Michigan. It's a super cute little town. If you're local to the area, it's only like a 4-hour drive, which is nice, very doable with kids, and it's a great spot for kids. I mean, they had all kinds of stuff. There were a couple different children's museums. There was this place called the Little Things Play Cafe, which was kind of like a Montessori indoor play space, which was really cool. There was a huge splash pad. There was a playground right on the beach. So
that's cool.
Yeah, and just like little ice cream shops and little town square. It was really cute. I think my main takeaway is, I think I had told you that my 5, almost 6-year-old, once she really could say it, she all the time would just be like, I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. And I had noticed like the last 6 months or so, she kind of wasn't saying it as much. Just
I don't really love you anymore, mommy.
Right. I'm like, okay. And so then someone would be like, I love you. And she wouldn't say anything. I'd be like, I love you. She's like, I love you too. So then when we were on vacation, she really just leaned in and was like, I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. So the moral of the story is you can buy your children's love.
Vacations work great.
Just take them on vacation and let them do whatever they want, and they will love you again.
They will love you.
Yeah.
Yes. Ice cream, trips.
Absolutely.
I'm sure jewelry at some point is really going to work.
So that was great.
It
was great. We had a great time. Yeah, it was wonderful.
We all got what we came for.
That's right. I re-earned my children's love with a vacation.
Yeah. Well, Fabulous. That's parenting 101.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're not buying your kids love, what are you doing?
I mean, I buy my dog's affection constantly. I'm like, oh, she's not really snuggling with me very much. Let me go buy her some stuff, and she'll like me.
That's right. Absolutely. Why not?
Oh, man. Yeah, we had a pretty good 4th.
Yes.
I had a nice date.
Oh, yes.
I had a 4th of July date. But it was good. It was a good time. It went really well. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Getting out there.
Yes. An exciting prospect.
Yeah.
I think.
It is an exciting prospect. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Do keep in mind if you go on a date on the 4th of July, some things will be closed. But
yes. And by some things, I mean almost everything in town. But it worked out. We managed to find some fun. And
nice.
It was a good time.
We went to the fair.
Ooh,
which was a good
Monroe
time.
County Fair?
The Monroe County Fair. It's a good time. We did choose the least hot day of the week, so that worked out nicely. And it wasn't like super crowded because we went on a Tuesday. But the thing we really need to talk about are the T-shirts. This kid could not have been more than 15. I mean, I'm not great at telling people's ages, but I feel like kids are a little easier. He couldn't have been more than 15. I mean, if I had to guess, I would have guessed 14 or 15. And he had on a T-shirt. And just like, excuse my language. I know we've been trying to clean up our language a little bit on this podcast. When we go back to some of the rewind episodes, I'm like, we're really just letting the fucks fly. But he was walking around with a T-shirt on that said, "I'm here to fuck somebody's wife."
What? Oh my God.
A 15-year-old boy is walking around the fair with this T-shirt on.
Good Lord. Dang. I mean, that is
highly offensive.
Yeah.
And inappropriate.
Really. I mean, no beating around the bush there. Like.
And you are not of legal age.
Right. And just like, you're a child. Whose wife are
right.
you? What?
It would be a crime.
Yeah, that's insane. And it's also just like.
I mean, I was like really taken aback.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty shocking. It's also just like not really funny.
It's not funny at all.
So the things kids think are funny, it's just like, okay, or cool, I guess.
Yeah. What's the motivation there? Do they think it's funny or do they think it's cool? Yeah. Or do they actually think it makes them desirable to like an older woman? Yeah.
Or are they just trying to be provocative?
Right.
Shock value, which I feel like is a very teenage boy thing. Just
could be.
Like, I'm just going to say the wildest shit ever and
just
get a rise out of people while also trying to seem like I'm a sex king. I don't know.
I mean, it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's next level. I mean, I can't imagine a parent being like, yeah, sure, wear that shirt.
I just feel like there's no way a parent saw him leave the house in that shirt or saw him go out into the world in that shirt.
Yeah, and it's so funny to imagine a teenager being like, yeah, this shirt rules. I'm going to hide this shirt and put it on right before I go to the fair. That's how much I love this shirt. That's how much every woman at the fair is going to be like, oh, maybe I will fuck this 14-year-old. That's because he has that really cool shirt on. I wouldn't have thought twice about it before, but since he's telling us, since I know he wants to fuck a wife tonight, sure, sign me up.
I mean, and then there was another boy that had a shirt on that said, "I love hot moms," which not nearly as offensive.
Yeah.
Still inappropriate. I mean, I identify as a hot mom, so like,
yeah, I mean,
okay, I'm kind of here for it, but
that's like cute compared to I'm here to fuck somebody's
right.
wife.
But also still very inappropriate. Still would not let my child out of the house in that. Like, you were a child.
I'm sure there is some population of women that like that works for, but for the most part, I just want to shake men and be like, this isn't attractive.
And you are not a man.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the message to be sending at any age, let alone 15.
It wouldn't be funny if an adult man was wearing it, and it's really not funny when a 15-year-old is wearing it.
It's really gross and like alarming.
It's alarming. Yeah. Yes.
Worrisome.
Yes.
I'm worried about what this boy is going to turn into.
And, I mean, this is kind of out there. And I feel like female predators are such like it's very different, I feel like, from male predators when it comes to like relationships with underage kids. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you're kind of putting a billboard on for that, though. Like, if there is somebody out there, you're kind of making yourself a little vulnerable, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
because think think about if a 15-year-old girl was wearing a shirt that said, "I'm here to fuck somebody's husband."
Oh yeah, no way. That would never fly. And they would be getting nasty looks. People would be saying something to them. Where a boy wearing that shirt, I'm sure
people were laughing. I'm sure people were laughing. Whereas if a girl were wearing that shirt,
oh, absolutely not. She'd be scorned forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the double standard, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. I wonder if he won it at the fair.
I don't know. I can't imagine.
I'm like, is that the kind of shirt Spencer's Gifts is really selling these days?
Yeah. I really can't imagine that, but I don't know. It was wild. It's the Wild West out there, guys. I don't know. Kids these days.
Kids say and do the darndest things.
Oh my God.
They still do.
Yeah.
That's funny. Now I told when you sent me a text about that, and I was at my parents' house, and I told them, and they all went, "Oh my God!" The olds did not like it.
Yeah. The boomers were not having it.
No, they were like, "That's insane." I was like, "It is kind of."
Yeah. Yes.
Oh man, I remember trying to buy a shirt in middle school, going school shopping with my mom, and I tried to buy a shirt that said like, "I love boys" or "boy crazy," and she was like, "No, absolutely not." She's like, "That's just not the message you want to be sending."
Right.
You know?
Right.
So like, I can't imagine any parent would be just like, "Okay."
No way. There's no way the parent knew. I mean, there are certain things that I feel like parents are united fronts on, regardless of what kind of parenting style you have. And I just do not see any parent letting their child out of the house in that shirt, especially if you were like, "I'm going to the fair in this shirt, Mom, where I'm probably going to see all my kids from school and their parents."
Yeah.
Now it's going to get back to his parent, because there were definitely parents that he knew there. There's no escaping an adult that you know at your own county fair.
For sure. Yeah.
He'll get outed.
Yeah, I wish the best for him. I hope he learns the error of his ways. Maybe next week he'll wear a shirt that says, "I'm sorry for the shirt I wore last week. I didn't mean it." It's going through a really tough time, and I lashed out in an inappropriate way.
God. Oh boy. Speaking of clothes, first I have just a random thing that I need clarification on, and then I have a circle back on fashion for all bodies. The first thing is, what determines whether somebody is a pajama or a pajama person? Is that regional? Do you say pajamas or pajamas?
I say pajama.
I do too. And like, who's out there saying jammies? That's what I don't understand.
I was just about to say, I was like, yeah, because you say jammies. Get in your jammies and your little.
Nobody says jammies, do they? No. I've never heard someone say jammies.
No, that's not a thing.
So do people who say pajamas just always do the long version? They don't shorten it? Or do they say pajama jammies?
I think they say pajama jammies. Yeah.
Then why would you ever say pajama?
I don't know. Maybe they've never confronted that inconsistency.
Well, I need some answers.
We should message Paige to Sorbo and be like, I bet she says pajamas.
You think she's a pajama girl?
Yeah, she's definitely a pajama.
Maybe we'll do a poll.
Cool. Yeah, let us know.
We'll poll our 12 listeners and see who says pajama and who says pajama.
Get to the bottom of this. Yeah, pajamas does sound nicer.
I mean, it's a little more elevated or something.
Yeah, it's like adults wear pajamas.
But not jammies.
No,
surely that's insane. No one's out there saying jammies. Get your jammies on.
No, get your johns. No one says that.
No, okay, anyway.
It's a good little sidebar.
I needed to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a circle back on fashion for all bodies. We talked about this. This was in conjunction with Paige's Daphne release, where we were talking about size inclusivity and all of that, and we kind of like nailed it down to just like, it all comes down to like the bottom line at the end of the day, and like capitalism and all of that. But then I was thinking about it, and it's like, okay, sure, but wouldn't they actually make more money if it was size inclusive, because there would be more people available to buy the clothes? So then it got me thinking, it really just boils down to the fact that the message is really just that, no, I don't want fat people in my designer clothes, and fashion is not for fat people. That's really, I mean,
it's hard not to
take that as the message.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about, the bottom line, it's like, well, if you have a larger demographic or target audience that can purchase your clothes, you're going to sell more of them.
Yeah, you're basically telling, I don't want your money. People,
right?
There are plenty.
I don't need your money. I don't want your money.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's an opportunity to make money.
Right.
People want to spend their money on clothes. There's a lot of women out there,
right,
who want to buy clothes that fit them and can't.
Yeah.
And you're basically just turning that opportunity down. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Which makes it hard to think that that's not the principle behind it.
Yeah.
Is that fashion is not for fatties.
Right. Or that it's harder. They think it's harder to make clothes that fit those bodies when it's not. It's just something you haven't done before. So yeah, there may be a little bit more effort up front because you have to do something you haven't done.
Right.
But in the long run, you will be making money off of that.
Right.
So profiting off that. Yeah. I know. It doesn't make sense to me either.
Yeah. I mean, the more I thought about it, the more it was just like, I feel like there's a clear message being sent here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I agree with you.
Yeah. And it's not right.
It's not a good one.
No, it's not a good one. It never is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've really just uncovered on this podcast that the messages aren't good, guys.
Bad messaging
Bad
all
messaging.
around.
Okay. I have another circle back, I think. Okay, yes. I have another circle back to And Just Like That. We were talking about this, I don't know, a couple episodes ago, about basically just kind of how it's gone completely off the rails. And we did get into a little bit of a conversation, and I think I ended up having to cut most of this out because we were so over on time. But we were talking about how they really, like, especially in the first season, it was like, it felt like they almost had like a woke quota that they had to hit. Mm-hmm. And then it got me thinking, like, was Sex and the City always woke and we just didn't really get it because we weren't watching it in real time?
No, I think it was like, well, I guess it depends. It's all relative. Was it woke for the time?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Because we weren't watching it in real time. And my question would be, like, where are those fans? Because I feel like we are a generation of fans who watched the syndicated version. Like, I'd be interested to know, like, I feel like I don't hear a lot of Generation X or even like my mom, like people who maybe would have been watching it as it aired in real time on HBO. They're not chiming in. Where are those fans? Like, was it always woke? And by the time we were watching it, it just didn't feel that way because we had caught up, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. And I feel like...
And obviously we didn't have the word woke then. So.
Right, yeah. And I feel like in the terms of wokeness, it was woke, but only in a very limited way. Like, I don't think it was... You know, it was woke in terms of, you know, women talking about their sexuality. And
right.
And so in that very small, specific
way
topic, it was woke. But I don't think it was in many other ways. It wasn't very representative of other races and,
right.
you know, other points of view. I think that's pretty obvious and it's been, like, brought to light for sure. It wasn't super representative of the whole population.
Right.
It was in certain ways, of course. I think that's why it was such a groundbreaking show.
Yeah.
But you do bring up a good point, though. It is curious. I feel like so many of the people who, and I could be wrong about this, the fans
me
of the
too.
show weren't actually the ages of the women in the show at the time.
No.
Like, much younger girls and women were watching the show and kind of, like, aspiring to that.
Yes.
So it would be interesting to hear from, like, because how old were they how old were the characters in the show when the show first started
in their mid-30s.
Mid-30s?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many mid-30s women were watching
we were
the show.
12. I was 12 when it aired in 1998.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
And I don't think I started watching it.
Not until it was on TV.
Yeah.
I never watched it on HBO when it aired.
I think I was in my 20s.
Oh, for sure.
When I started watching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was still, like, the best show.
Oh, absolutely.
It had already been out for, you know, a decade. Maybe?
Yeah, I'd just be curious to talk to somebody who watched it when it was airing and see, like, what the vibe of the show felt like at that time.
Yeah.
You know, because even though it wasn't representative in certain terms, I bet it still felt very progressive.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that episode about Samantha dating a black man and the struggles that came with that and the sister character, like, I'm sure that was, kind of groundbreaking. It wasn't talked about a lot in most shows.
Yeah.
But
I was just wondering if maybe we needed to lay off a little bit of giving them a hard time for that first season back where they were like, woke quota, woke quota, woke quota.
No, but I think that woke quota was in response to that show being judged 15 years later for not being representative when it's like,
yeah, but it's 15 years old.
Right, exactly. And like, should they have been more cognizant of that? Absolutely. But it's also like, I think.
But were they cognizant of a lot more than other shows were at that time?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Yeah. Is it fair to judge something 10 years, 15 years after it's been released?
Right.
I mean, I think it's okay to be critical and look back and say, like, yes, there should have been more representation, but, because, I think it was progressive at the time.
I do too. And
was it totally progressive? No, but like.
But what was?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And
None of us were.
No, right. We weren't there yet societally.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
which I think is fine to acknowledge.
Yeah.
And say like, hey, all these shows that you're holding up as super progressive weren't totally.
Yeah. And there was definitely, I would say, probably more queer representation in that show than a lot of others too.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it just got me thinking a lot too about like, where are those original fans?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's all women our age. It's a very millennial show. It's mostly millennials that I feel like I see talking about it and are like obsessed with it and really invested in it. Mm-hmm. And it's like none of us were watching it when it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some, but
oh yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, where's that fan base? I want to hear from them.
Yeah, I wonder what they think.
Yeah. Anyway.
But no, I think that woke quota was definitely a response to. Because it got a lot of backlash a certain number of years later about like, this is just a bunch of rich white women. Yeah. Like, they didn't give any other perspective. Yeah. Which is, not an unfair statement, but it's not, it's also like, I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say.
I think I know what you're trying to say without you having to say it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely not representative of the experience of New York women as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely.
New York is one of the most diverse cities, and it's the same criticism that Real Housewives of New York got.
Yeah, absolutely. And which is a totally fair statement to make.
Yes, but I also think there was intention around making it a group of women of high means too. I think they wanted them to have money and like be in fashion and all of that, but then it also kind of lends to this idea that like not only white women have money,
right?
And like
absolutely,
yeah. So anyway, got me thinking about it a little bit. Have you been watching? It's gotten a little better.
No, I kind of stalled out,
okay.
But I intend to finish it.
Yeah, it's gotten a little better.
Yeah,
there's been a little bit of depth.
Oh, that's good.
The last couple of episodes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Miranda hasn't totally.
Miranda's still like
lost in the sauce.
Yes, Miranda's storyline is taking a nosedive, but yeah, Carrie's storyline has gotten a little better, and
that's good.
Yeah,
it got weird for a second.
Yeah, there's a little depth happening.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah. Okay.
What else are we watching?
Well, I need to say one thing about The Bear. The Bear is not a comedy. And I know we've all talked about this when it won the Emmy for comedy, so it got put in the comedy category. If you need a beta blocker before you watch it, it's not a comedy.
Yeah, that's another one that I haven't started the new season yet.
I have not had such high anxiety after watching anything since The Revenant.
Oh, yeah. No, it is extremely stressful. Last season was a trip.
The drama is off the rails.
Yeah.
It is not like there's some jokes. Sure. There's some jokes because there has to be.
Or it would be miserable.
Or it'd be miserable.
Yeah.
It is not a comedy.
Yeah.
It is good. But the fact that it's a comedy is the joke.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, no, I don't get that either. And I'm sure a lot of people were pissed about that.
I mean, what?
One in that category.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
It was very strange.
Yeah. Dude, have you watched Sinners?
So I started to watch it and then I stopped.
So good. I feel like it's one of those, because I feel like anytime a movie or a show gets overhyped,
it's never as good.
Disappointing. It held up to the hype.
Okay.
I thought it was great. I thought it was such an interesting portrayal of all the characters and the story. And like, I'm not a huge horror buff either. It was like the perfect amount of
horror.
Yeah. For me.
I had every intention of watching it. I started it, and then my kids got up to their bedtime bullshit, and I ended up like turning it off and doing something else. But yeah, because I was waiting for it to become free, or at least free for me. It's on HBO now. So
yeah, I thought it had an amazing ending too, which you don't get very often.
Yeah, you don't.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to finish it.
I'm interested to hear your opinion, especially since you are such a horror buff.
Yeah, it's vampires, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What title do you like? Horror buff? Horrorphile? What is the
I don't know that word? I don't know that I consider myself so much a horror buff, just a fan.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of horror movies, but I feel like the buffs are really like I have a lot of classics that I like, but I am more of like a modern era horror girly too. Yeah. Like, so yeah.
Just what's your favorite genre? I feel like I should know this about
God.
You. Do you like
it's
the
really
gore
tough
stuff, or do you like the
I like it all.
Yeah.
I really, and this is so divisive, I feel like, in the horror fan community, and it's one of those things where it's like when it's done really well, it slaps, and when it's not, they're horrible. But I really like a well done found footage.
Oh, like Blair Witch type situation?
So that was like the movie that kind of like made the genre famous. Of course, it wasn't the first one. A lot of people think it was. Right. But yeah.
But that's an example.
That's an example of found footage. Yeah. So like I really like Creep is one of my favorite horror movies with the Duplass brothers, Mark Duplass.
Oh.
That's a found footage.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, when they're done well, they're so good. And one thing that I really like about the genre is it's really given a platform to a lot of creators because you can do them so low budget. And now with YouTube and everything, it's like it really has created space for all of these small, like, indie filmmakers to, like, put their art out into the world, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I love a good slasher. I mean, I love a good serial killer, so I don't have many genres that I shy away from. I'm not huge on zombies. It just depends. But then again, like Walking Dead is one of my all-time favorite series. So it just depends. But yeah.
Cool. That made me think too. I've been talking, I feel like this topic has come up a lot about artists having the opportunity to create more, and especially in terms of Netflix, about getting so frustrated that there's so much crap on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of torn because I feel like a lot of it is, there's so much streaming now that like anybody can get something made, it feels like.
Yeah.
Even stuff that isn't necessarily that great.
Right.
And it's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? In a way, it's great because a lot more people are getting their stuff made.
Yeah.
But in another way, I feel like these streaming platforms are oversaturated with just not very great stuff. But it's like, is that a bad thing or is it just...
Yeah.
I mean, it is now. I don't know.
I know. I do, for the most part, think it's a good thing. I don't know. Like, the best example I can think of is, have you heard of Kane Parsons? Mm-mm. He has some stuff on YouTube. He's a found footage filmmaker, and he's like 20 years old. And he now has a deal with A24 to put out a feature film of like a 9-minute short that he made. And before it was like, you really couldn't do that with no money or no connections. And now it's like anybody can go out and do it.
Yeah.
And I do think that's a good thing. Because like 25 years ago, this kid probably would have gotten nowhere.
Right.
Because I mean, so yeah, I just think...
Yeah.
I do think it's a good thing.
I do think that is a good thing too, but like, do you think that's good for him because he makes really good work?
Yeah.
But like, that's what I wonder is like, at what point are we able to judge and say, this is crap, this shouldn't be on a streaming platform? And when is it like unfair of us to say what's good and what isn't? Like, who's the judge of what's good?
Well, I think that's
like the bigger question. And
right.
It's like, yeah, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But
exactly.
it does make it a little harder to like sift through.
No, I agree. And like, obviously you are paying for a streaming platform.
Yeah.
So ultimately I do think it's a good thing. People having access to creative outlets and like, yeah, I mean, I think that's positive.
Yeah.
Is it kind of annoying as the person paying for the streaming platform being like junk?
Right.
Yeah. And let me tell you right now, the found footage genre, 75% of it is garbage.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
You know, it is just some person out there with an iPhone running through the woods or like whatever.
And
but
you could say the same for anything. Books are the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be a million books published that like most people would consider trash.
Like you're going to go to the library. Going to the library is similar to sifting through Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, now you don't have to pay for the library, but it's like, what are you going to
do? But like, who then is the judge of what's good and bad? Because I'm sure a lot of the things I don't like, somebody else interested in.
Yeah. And maybe that thing that they made that they put out wasn't good, but it's what got their foot in the door. And then 5 years later, they're putting out great stuff because they had that opportunity to learn and grow, and, you know, it opened that door. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm on that same page.
The horror genre gets so little respect as it is.
Yeah.
That that really has made it a better place for creators and fans, I think, having more access. And
for sure.
Yeah,
access is a good thing.
Yeah,
I think in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
For humankind.
Yes, I think so.
Sorry, a little tangent there.
Just a little tangent.
Just came to mind.
That's okay. Those are the best ones. Okay, should we do a little reality check?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say, I mean, bravo to Bravo for playing the long game.
Oh, I know. For Next Gen?
Next Gen, I am loving it.
It's gold. I mean, it's exactly what you want from a reality star, is to then see their spawn turn into a nonsense reality star.
Are you kidding? It's been so great. And it's funny because I feel like what I've been seeing so far, people are like, ugh.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Off the bat. Because I feel like that's what's the question when you watch these, you know, their parents be reality stars. The question in my head is always like, man, what is this doing to their kids? Like, what is the rest of their life going to be like?
Right.
Like, how long does this last for them? And like, what's their life going to be like post this? And now we have like an actual show about it.
Right. And I don't know if some of these people that were like poo-pooing it, like I have been watching Gia Giudice on television since she was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
I am here for it. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
That scene where she had to explain to one of her friends, like, yeah, you know that TikTok phrase, wake up in the morning, think
that's
about
me.
So many things like that. And he was like, that's you? I mean, it's so crazy, like the social zeitgeist she's in. That, like, that, like, she has become a meme that people don't even know
that it's her
from so long ago.
Right.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And like, you know, Brooks is relatively new to the scene because Salt Lake's not that old of a franchise. But yeah, Candy's daughter, Riley, she's from the old school Atlanta, which I watched a little bit. Yeah. Ariana, I watched Don't Be Tardy for the Party.
Yeah.
So I've been watching her for 10 years.
Don't be tardy for the party. Some reality gold. My God.
Man.
And they are just living like exactly the kind of lives you would expect them to.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's just like, wow.
And I am so invested in this Charlie character and his dad's relationship.
Oh, see, I'm a little bit behind.
He's like just like the rich trust fund kid.
Oh, yes.
Who like clearly has very serious daddy issues.
Yeah. And just like doing nothing and just has all the money in the world.
Yeah. But this has all been perpetuated clearly by the father. And it's insane. Some of the stuff that's been.
Well, and it is kind of sad because you really
It's so sad.
You do really get into a glimpse of like how fucked up their parental relationships are.
Yes.
With all of them. I mean, like. What, Tardy for the Party, like, stole all this kid's money
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
messed up, too.
Yeah, it's, like, not...
It's not great. It's not great. I mean, it's been... The storyline with Charlie and his dad, it's so entertaining, and like, but it's really sad.
Yeah, and it does make you... Because as much as it's entertaining, I love watching it, there is a part of me that's like, man, are we just watching... a show about these kids' lives falling apart, or have we just been watching these families just like destroy these poor kids' lives?
Yes. Yeah. Especially with now, I mean, I think there's a lot of, you know, families similar to like Charlie and his dad. Like, I don't think there maybe is necessarily malicious intent there. I think sometimes it's just a product of how you grow up and how you're raised. But like, the whole thing with like Kim and Ariana, how is that not? And how she's just like, I honestly have no idea how much money I make because it's just gone. And like, but she knows it's a lot because she's like, I know how much I was getting paid for each deal. And then the money's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane.
And do they have any relationship?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes. Yes. There's a part where, and you probably haven't gotten to this yet, where her and her boyfriend are talking about, and the boyfriend's like getting mad, like, you're not giving your mom any more money. Like, she's still giving her money.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh man, when you're parenting the parent, like the parent just like can't get it together, and big numbers of money are involved. Yeah.
Yikes. Spikes.
And it kind of, I've been watching Southern Charm.
Yes.
And
I can't wait for you to be caught up.
It is so good.
It's so good.
It's the best one.
I know.
I am like so invested in these people. And it's so cool because
what season are you on?
I think I'm on season 6 or 7.
Oh, okay.
So
you're getting up there.
I've been tearing through it.
Yeah. So Thomas and Catherine are gone.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yeah. Is Catherine still on? She hangs on for a couple seasons.
Yeah, Catherine's still on. This is the first season without Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
Which I love Cameron.
So Madison's your narrator now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Madison and
Austin
have just split up for good. And that guy Pringle just came onto the scene.
I forgot about Pringle. He's kind of a flash in the pan.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell when flashes come on. You're like, this guy's weird.
Yeah.
He's not gonna last.
He's not gonna last. Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting too after watching Summer House and seeing Craig and Shep a little bit, or hearing their names and like seeing Craig, modern Craig, and then watching his like young Craig. Craig is a fucking weirdo. What a strange individual. I mean, not what I was anticipating at all from the Craig you see on like Summer House with Paige.
Yeah.
It's also just like, how in the hell did him and Paige ever get together in the first place is beyond at this point where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the pillow game. Great.
Yeah.
It took him 1,200 years to get a pillow made.
Right.
But like, good for you. It's just, it is the most
you
fascinating
just sit around in your apartment and you sew. And he's like, what's wrong with my sewing?
I can't take you seriously when you're sitting behind your sewing machine. What's wrong with my sewing? Nothing. The sewing's cool. Great hobby and a great potential,
He was very lost for a while.
Yeah, he just trying to get it together. And I think it's so funny that there is just a Southern Lisa Vanderpump. And
Patricia,
They treat men the exact same way. She just has these parties for the guys to come over where she's just like the one lady hanging out. Just like, what is happening here?
The South
is
a
crazy place.
Strange place.
Strange place.
It can be.
Yeah.
I don't want to generalize.
Right. Well, and it's just now COVID and they're taking down the statues. So some like real social issues are coming up. So it's just really, really interesting to hear everybody's perspective on that. And like, man, the whole Catherine thing, how they're also like, they hated her so much. And now everybody's on Catherine's side. Oh, now they all hate her.
Oh, God.
Again.
What about Ashley? That was a wild time for reality TV.
Ashley.
Oh. Wait. Yeah.
Who's Ashley?
Thomas's girlfriend.
Oh, Ashley.
I'm like, wait, that happened already, didn't it?
Oh, my God. She was insane. And I was like, that was the one you could definitely tell, like, this bitch just wants to be on TV.
Yeah.
That is truly just like,
it was wild.
Not a real person underneath there. Yeah, that was a wild one. Yeah.
Woo! Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so funny watching like the way groups of people behave and how they were all like, Catherine's the most vile person on earth, and then she went to rehab. Also went to rehab for weed. They made it sound like she was a heroin addict or something. She was like, I went to rehab for weed, so I can drink if I want, but I don't know. Anyways,
I don't know.
But it is just funny watching how, like,
it
group
was
mentality.
It was court ordered, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was
and
court
she had to
ordered.
take all these drug tests.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, anyways, it's just funny to watch the group mentality change over time and how quickly they turn on each other. And it's funny. But yeah, it's great. I've been loving it.
Yeah, I know.
I had a point that I was going to make about just
you connected
like,
it.
Just like young people with trust funds and money and how much that like shapes who you are.
Yeah, like Shep.
Yeah. And yeah, I guess I don't really have a point, but I was just kind of rambling. But yeah, it is interesting. People with money. We're kind of obsessed with them. I feel like all shows now there's so many shows too about like rich people as the villains, you know, and
right.
just like how fucked up rich culture is. And
yeah,
you know, it seems to be like a really common theme right now in
yeah.
a lot of pop culture.
Yeah.
And we're obsessed with billionaires.
Yeah.
They're ruling the world.
Well, yeah,
we love
it's kind of
watch
hard
them.
Not to be when they make all the decisions.
That's right.
And yeah,
It's
I know.
interesting.
Yeah. But going back to Next Gen, can we talk for just a second about how unhinged Seth Marks is? I mean, what on earth?
Yeah.
Have you seen this sit down with Charlie?
No, but I have to watch it. But the whole Marks family is just a really interesting group of folks.
Yes, they are. And I don't know why, but Seth has just obsessed with talking about sexual fluidity with all these young guys. And I just want to be like, Seth, if you want to kiss a boy, just kiss a boy. What is this about? It's so strange.
Well, yeah, that's probably exactly what it's about. He's probably like always been sexually curious, but like grew up Mormon. Or are they Mormon?
No.
No, okay.
But it's just, it seems like every episode he's sitting down with like a 25-year-old guy talking about sexual fluidity.
He's a weirdo. He was always, all the times he was on the show on Housewives, I was always like, this guy is squirrely as fuck.
Yeah. Squirrely's the perfect way to describe him. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's just like, if I was Brooks, I would be like, Dad, shut up. Stop talking to all my friends about sexual fluidity. What are you doing? Like,
well, and I feel like too, maybe in their attempt to like be supportive, they're educating themselves on things, and then they start getting a little carried away talking about things like sexual fluidity. It's just like, just shut up. Just stop talking about it.
Yeah. Well, but he keeps talking about it as like he wants to be sexually fluid.
Like, great, go for it.
Right. But like, you don't need to talk to my 25-year-old friend about it. Like, go be sexually fluid with a man your own age.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Seth.
Other house husbands.
Yeah. Like, anyway, I can't wait for you to see the sit down he has with Charlie. It's unhinged.
Yeah, I can't wait for that either.
And honestly, the way Charlie handles it is kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
nice.
yeah. You feel like he's just like, okay, bro. Like,
sure, yeah. Go suck a dick.
Yeah.
Try it.
Oh boy.
My goodness.
Anyway, so far, I'm loving it and I'm here for it. And I really hope they do. I hope there's potential for a franchise. We'll see. I don't know how many. Surely the California kids would do something.
I don't know how they wouldn't. Just like, this seems like,
well, I just
completely up Bravo's avenue. Yeah. Just be like, oh, great. We'll just make one of these for everybody.
Right. I just wonder how many
kids would be on board.
Yeah. And like if there's enough of them in different, you know what I mean? Because New York, obviously they had New York and Jersey, and then Ariana happens to be there. But surely they could do one in California with the original Orange County kids and some of the Beverly Hills kids, for sure.
How excited are you for Orange County with Gretchen?
Obsessed. Obsessed. I can't wait. It's going to be good. Because I was almost like, it used to be my favorite franchise.
Yeah.
And it's fallen to like 4th place.
Oh, man.
So we'll see. But yeah, I am excited. Definitely, for sure. So, okay. Can we pivot to the Valley?
Yeah.
Thoughts? First and foremost, I just want to say, regardless of the fact that she's still messy as fuck, I am so happy for Kristen and Luke.
Oh, I know.
I mean, Kristen deserves her happy ending. Yeah, and she does.
We all love Kristen's messiness.
Yeah.
She's messy in the most enjoyable way.
Because it's, you know, and I know she's had her issues in the past and, you know, her cancellation and all of that. But for the most part, I feel like she's messy in like a non-threatening way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not out there like...
She's just a shit talker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's not like destroying people's lives.
Right.
Necessarily. She's just stirring shit up in the friend group.
Maybe she is. I don't know. But
who knows? But
it feels more lighthearted with her, at least now, on the
feels,
Valley.
It feels a little schoolgirl when she does it.
Yeah.
Kind of just like, okay.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And Luke seems great.
Yeah.
And I just am happy for them. And, you know, they had the baby and yeah.
Yeah. Did you see all that nonsense about Janet fleeing the country?
Yeah. Is that real?
No,
I couldn't figure out.
And she was just like, we're just on vacation.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
And then everybody was like, after, you know,
getting death threats and stuff.
They what did they say? Evacuate to Switzerland.
Yeah, I saw fled the country. Yeah. And I'm like, that's got to be fake news.
No, I think she came out with a video and was just like, we're just on vacation.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But no, the Valley's been good so far. I just feel like hopefully Jax doesn't destroy Brittany's life.
Are we going to talk about that Instagram reel?
We probably should.
So for those of you who have not seen it, you just like search it. This girl, and I don't know what her credentials are. We just watched the video. I don't know anything about it.
She's just walking in the woods on very crunchy leaves.
It's a little ASMR. And she's basically just giving you the rundown of how Jax completely fits the bill as a family annihilator.
Yeah.
And she does say it doesn't mean he's going to do it. It just means that he's exhibiting almost all of the signs. I guess there's like specific archetypes and he fits one of them like to a T.
Yeah.
And she gives like verbatim the criteria and things that this particular archetype does. And she's like, we've seen these on television.
Yeah.
You know? I know.
Hopefully the fact that he is on television is the thing that would prevent him. And don't get it twisted.
We're not saying he's going to
kill
this.
Brittany and their family.
Right. It was just an interesting video.
Yeah. It was just like, hopefully though, being on TV would, would prevent that from ever happening. You would hope.
You would hope.
Because their life is so publicized. That
that happened here. Did you know that?
Here in Bloomington? To a family?
Mm-hmm, in Hyde Park.
Oh my God.
It was about a year. It was actually Labor Day weekend, COVID Labor Day weekend. So it was about a year before you moved back.
Oh, wow.
And it was a Bloomington South High School student, his older sister, who I don't know if she was just like home for a break or if she was sheltering in place at her family's house because it was COVID and just like, I don't know. But both the kids were home and the dad shot the wife, both kids and himself.
Oh, my God. I mean, what a nightmare.
Yeah. And the reason that I bring that up is because I think when it happens in a situation like that, like there are no signs outside of what's going on behind closed doors, like in the family. Yeah. And so I think people are always very surprised. And I just think that's just like such an interesting distinction between that and then when you're seeing all this stuff play out on camera.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and you think that, like, that would never actually happen.
Right.
Those things, horrible things like that don't actually happen, but they do.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, and, yeah, I know it's just, you don't ever want to, like, assume, like, those videos are very provocative and...
For a reason.
Yes. And, like, those are the things on the internet that it's, like, so hard to grapple with, because it's like, all right, well, that's not fair to assume that of somebody.
Right.
But it's also like, well.
But it's also like if this is somebody who's seeing all of these glaring red flags play out on television and reminding yourself that these are real people.
Yeah.
And that this is a family that could be in actual peril.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know. We're just watching it for entertainment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sick and gross.
Yeah. And I mean, she kind of called out. She said that, there needs to be, I believe her words were demonstrable intervention by the network.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's been a big topic of conversation, I think.
Right.
About, like, when are we going to say enough with Jax Taylor and be like, you don't get a platform anymore.
Right.
You don't get to be on TV anymore.
Right.
You're perpetuating horrible behavior.
Right. Right. And at what point do you cross the line from being entertainment to, essentially facilitating an environment for danger?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that, he doesn't have very many fans anymore over the years, but he still does have
Oh, for sure.
Fans,
and regardless of whether you're a fan of Jax Taylor, like, people are still watching the show. We're watching the show,
Yeah, and like, how bad would we feel if something horrible happened and we just allowed it to all play out on television?
Exactly.
Just, like, we're accepting this behavior and...
right?
We would all feel horrible if it ended badly and no one stepped in,
right,
at any point.
And obviously, like, it's not our responsibility to stop it; it's the network. But it's like, and there were so many comments on that video, like tagging Andy Cohen, Bravo, like when who's going to do something about this,
right? Like, at what point do you say we don't put abusers on television,
right?
Because I know there haven't been any physical allegations, but, he, through that table, it's like at what point, and he's obviously
there are more kinds of abuse. Yeah, there's more kinds of abuse than just physical abuse.
At what point do we just say, sorry,
I know.
We're not okay with that.
I know. And it is really hard too, because it's like, and we've talked about this with other stuff where it's like, who's the authority? Because right now it's just a bunch of armchair experts.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like any of us have talked to Jax Taylor's psychiatrist or doctor. Yeah. You know what I mean? The lines are so blurred between what is entertainment and what is reality and who has the responsibility to do what.
Right.
That it's like, yeah, it's really complicated because it's like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like the network has to constantly decide, okay, what do we stand for?
Right.
What kind of content are we trying to put out in the world, and where do we draw the line?
Right.
And I feel like there have been people who have been removed from the show for much less for saying,
right,
who've been fired from shows or have had consequences for doing. And like, why does he?
Stassi and Kristen.
Why does
an example?
Yeah. Why does he keep getting a pass?
Yeah.
When I feel like the argument is there that what he is doing is equally as bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
I
know.
And it's hard. Again, it's hard not to just to assume that like men get a pass for doing shit.
I know.
Like that.
I know.
We're not as critical for men as we are for women.
Right. That too. And I don't know how much of it has to do with the fact that. I'm just using Stassi and Kristen as an example because they were all on the same show. It's just an easy example. They were talking about what they did on other podcasts, and like it was almost like there was no like gray area of like, did they do this? Did they not do this? Whereas, like with Jax, like we were talking about, maybe the network feels like they can't make a clear accusation against him almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it makes for like an interesting like argument in terms of, and we talked about this, with the musicians and stuff. How do you determine what's real and what's not? I really don't think you can.
Yeah.
And at what point do you say, okay, I'm not going to support this person anymore?
Yeah.
And how do you determine when that becomes your responsibility? And also like, what responsibility do you have to know enough about the person whose content you're consuming and supporting?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know. It does feel like at this point in time, you have to research heavily everything you consume and every person you consume, because there's bound to be a history of misbehavior, bad behavior, and it's like, okay, at what point, if I consume what you're making, am I perpetuating
the issue,
your bad behavior, or this issue on a grander scale in society? Like, does watching Jax Taylor on this show mean that I am perpetuating men abusing and
that we're like normalizing
abusive?
this? Yeah, and like saying that it's acceptable and it's okay to behave this way. Like, yeah, I know. And I think about that too with like, well, we talked about that a little bit when we talked about the issue with Hannah Berner and Meg Thee Stallion. It's like, at what point, do we allow for mistakes and growth and evolution? And at what point do you have to draw the line and say, no, I don't know. And like, where's the degrees of separation for that too? Because like a good example is, I don't know how much you know about the Toast or the Oshry sisters. Mm-mm. Well, they have like one of the top podcasts in the world, and their mother is like a well-known like right-wing anti-Muslim activist. And it's like they kind of tried to keep that under wraps, I think, for a while. And they had some tweets that like resurfaced that they made when they were very young. And, there's just a lot of like, there's just some controversial things. And I have maybe listened to like 3 or 4 episodes of The Toast, and it's not really for me. So, but one of their husbands has a podcast called The Good Guys with this other guy. I love it. I listen to it all the time. And I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, where do you draw the line?
I know.
And like, do I have to know everything about every single person I follow or listen to? Or like, at a certain point, it does become exhausting. And at a certain point, there's always something.
Oh, I know. Everything.
There's always something.
I just read an article about the Spotify CEO.
Right.
Where he's, you know, supporting like AI and military businesses, which like sounds fucking scary and not great. And then the article is like, oh, and he did all this other nut job stuff too. And it's just like, man, is everything I use just like owned, founded, or funded by some
radical person?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's your responsibility as a human in society to do the research, but man, it gets exhausting.
And it's like, and so what am I going to do? Live in silence?
Yeah.
I listen to nothing. I buy nothing online. I listen to no podcast.
I know. It's hard. I don't know. Honestly, I don't think anybody has the answer. I think you do. I feel like I come back, and this almost feels like a lazy answer, but I always come back to like, do your best.
Do your best.
You know, make the sacrifices when you can, but like, don't be so hard on yourself that like,
right.
You know, you restrict yourself of all happiness or comfort or convenience, you know? I mean, I think that is. We are obsessed with convenience in this country, and a lot of the things we don't want to give up are because of, like, I hate Amazon. I think Jeff Bezos is bad for this world.
Right.
But I don't have an Amazon account, but I do order stuff on there sometimes, and I try not to, but like, damn, sometimes it's impossible.
Well, because now we've made it impossible. Like, there used to be, you could go to a store and buy stuff. Now, sure, some things you can, but sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We really have made it to where there are some things I can't go to a store and buy that.
Right. I know, but I do feel like, okay, well, like, if I don't like Jeff Bezos, if I don't support what he's doing and what he stands for and who he is, then how can I shop at Amazon? Yeah. You know, like, how can I keep putting money in his pocket? Like, you'd think I know the answer. It's just like, do I really not want to do it because it's inconvenient for me? And it always feels like I know what the answer is. I just don't want to do it. You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, well, then if I'm going to take that stance, then I have to apply that to everything.
Right.
And then that's where it gets
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also like, there are caveats to consider. Like, there are small women-owned businesses on Amazon selling on Amazon's platform.
Yeah.
You know, and some businesses, that's the only way they're selling things.
Right.
So it's like, there are caveats. It's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not black and white.
Right.
Always.
Right. So I don't know. It's tough, but the Jax thing is, I mean, the network, I think the network needs to handle this.
Yeah. It's gotten to the point with me where it's just like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
I don't think he really brings anything to the show anymore. You know, it's that
not
positive.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, he's obviously never going to change.
And honestly, it would be for his own good too.
Yeah.
He needs to just be a normie.
For real. Yeah. I mean, he's gotten plenty out of the show, you know, that he should be grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because did you watch that episode of Watch What Happens Live with him on it?
Yes.
It was weird, and I feel like you could tell that they were really torn between, should we have him on here at all?
Yeah. Like, and Andy even said, like, Kristen Doty just tweeted and said, we shouldn't have you on here.
Exactly, like, because that is a classic situation of, we are giving him a platform to talk,
right? And
what he's gonna come and do exactly what he did, which was. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I've changed.
Yeah.
Even though every other action I have ever done proves otherwise.
Right.
You know, and yeah, that he doesn't even deserve that.
Right.
And, you know, I don't really have an argument against that.
I know.
But he did, I feel like, give him a pretty decent grilling. Like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He didn't go soft on it.
No.
Easy on him.
No. So. But that's also Andy's job. He doesn't really, I mean. He kind of grills everybody when they're in the hot seat, you know? So I don't know that it was necessarily like specifically tailored to, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is the ultimate struggle with reality TV in general, I feel like. It's just like, is this good for people?
Yeah.
To just be watching, quote unquote, reality and watching these people's lives spin out sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know. It's hard because how much of it is real, how much of it is produced. And of course, it is obviously all parallel to their real lives, whether certain situations are produced or not. But it's also like, at the same time, it doesn't mean that like people's lives who aren't on reality TV aren't spinning out too. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Sure.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we're going to keep watching.
We're going to keep watching. So, we'll let you know.
Someday we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. We must get to the bottom of this. Oh, man.
Anyways, should we do gripes and gripes?
Yeah. Okay. My gripe is kind of niche, but it's an automotive gripe, which we love. I hate when I am like in an unfamiliar place, like when we were on vacation or just wherever, and you're like backing out of a parking spot or you're leaving a parking lot and you don't know whether or not you need to turn right or left out of the parking lot, but your backup camera is trumping your navigation.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
And it's like, turn off. And then I have to put the car in park. So the backup camera will turn off so I can see my navigation.
Oh, God.
Annoying.
That's so annoying.
And it's like, I get it when I'm backing out, but then it stays on for a while as I'm accelerating forward. You know, there's like that lag. And I'm like, can you turn off, please, so that I know which way to turn?
Yeah. My car does that when I'm turning right. It has a camera on the right window.
That blocks your...
Yeah, that like trumps my thing. And I'm like, I really just, if I'm stuck in traffic or like at a stoplight, I'm like, man, I really want to like change the song or do something. But no, that stupid camera that I don't really even use. I never use it really.
Yeah, I don't have those. I don't think. I just have the backup. But anyway, it's really annoying.
Yeah.
And I get really flustered when there's like people behind me and I'm like, I don't know which way to go.
I know. I love that. Like, I know, especially when you have to like turn down the volume so you can see.
Of course.
Already. And
yeah.
Kids in the car and you're just like, I just know where to go.
That's right. And there's sometimes I will remember like before I pull out to like look first, but I don't always, and then I'll be like, this person's behind me. Get off my ass. You're breathing down my neck.
I can feel your hot breath on my neck.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. My gripe goes out to Gmail. Like, just send attachments when you're forwarding a message. Just do it automatically. Like, if you are forwarding an email and there's an attachment in it, you have to, like, send it separately or it pops up. And, like, no one ever remembers to do it. So I'm getting these emails all the time where it's just like, yep, just sent you the photo. And you're like, no, you didn't. No. It's not in there. And then you have to go back and they're like, oh, I could have sworn I did it. And I was like, yes, you have to do it separately in Gmail. It won't just fucking send it automatically.
Can't you click the box, include attachments?
You can, but like no one knows to do that.
Oh, okay.
It's not like super obvious.
Yeah.
I've been experiencing that a lot lately and it's super annoying.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, why would I want to just send the text?
I know.
It should be click if you don't want to send the attachment.
It should just automatically do it.
Yeah,
it's part of the email. You're sending the whole message.
That's right.
Just send it.
Yeah, I don't just need the text that says, here's the attachments.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So dumb. So if we could get that fixed, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, could somebody get in there and write some code, please?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it can't be that hard.
No.
It can't be that hard. Same with click list. If you could just get in there and write some code, that'd be great.
Just get in there, rearrange some things.
Could certainly party with Gmail. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, my grape is going out to the garlic sleeve. I love it. I hate chopping garlic manually. It's so sticky. Yeah. I hate crushing it with the knife. Yeah. Like and whoever invented that little thing that you roll it and and then I have a crusher, so I never have to actually like chop it or touch it. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, you got me a garlic press and it's
fabulous.
My life. Yeah, it's really great.
It's fabulous. So
I've never tried the sleeve. I'll have to try that.
The combo is where it's at.
Yeah,
you got to have both.
Nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, garlic is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and it's a necessity for so many dishes.
Oh yeah,
you gotta have garlic.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
nice. Good to know. My grape goes out to the Las Culturistas Culture Awards. Is going to be aired on Peacock this year.
Oh, nice.
So
have you researched these guys?
Yes, they are good to go. I'm pretty sure. No, they're the best. It's Bo and Yang and Matt Rogers, their podcast. I love it. It's hilarious. And they do this really funny, I guess you could call it a bit, where they do the Culture Awards, where they just come up with an insane amount of categories and they're all like kind of ridiculous and funny, and they just like nominate a bunch of random things. And they did it last year, and they may have done it a couple years. And then it's like a whole couple episodes where they like read the nominees. It's so funny. And then they do a whole episode where they like announce the winner, and they're airing it on Peacock this year.
Nice.
Which I think is so hilarious and awesome. I can't wait to watch. So
good deal.
Yeah, that's my grape. Check it out if you're interested. It's a good listen.
Nice. All right.
So that's it.
All right. Well,
thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Two.